So Ryan Reynolds has 2 movies coming out this weekend. In one he plays some Men in Black Death Hunter guy, that review is coming soon. And in this one he plays a snail with super Fast and Furious powers. He really wants us to forget about Green Lantern. Turbo is about a snail voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and he dreams of being fast. He watches the Indy 500, he looks at the winners who actually win the race, and he listens to their speeches, and he just wants to be like them. He wants to be faster than all of his other snails. He goes to his job every day, which is essentially monitoring the tomato garden in the yard in the house that he lives in. He kind of hangs out in the potted plants of this person's house, and during the day he tries to run from a child on a little bike who likes to crush snails, and they have to look out for birds that sometimes come down and pick them off. One day he gets blown inside the engine of a car in the middle of a street race and gets injected with nitrous oxide and becomes a super snail who can go faster than any of the other snails, and from then on we get to see how he gets to reach that dream of wanting to be fast and wanting to be in the Indy 500. Now there's certain types of kids movies. There are some kids movies that you think, okay, this is definitely a kids movie. To me that's like Happy Feet or Cars. And then there are films for kids that are actually for the entire family. To me that's like Toy Story or Despicable Me, for instance. These are films that the whole family can get together and no one feels like they're shortchanged. Everyone feels like they're having a good time. Turbo, for me, was more of a kid's film. You know, I wasn't hating myself watching it. I didn't want to die or anything, but it's definitely a film that your children will appreciate, or if you are younger, that you'll appreciate more. But it doesn't really have that much for the adults to enjoy. It is definitely an okay film. You can watch it and not feel like you wasted any time, but in all respects, it's very generic, and you've seen it before. You can tell where each plot point's going to hit. You know where everything's going to go, and you can pretty much predict where everything's going to happen. And it pretty much all happens the way that it's going to happen in your mind. Some of the things about the movie that I liked was the animation. The 3D was fantastic. The 3D was definitely really good. I wouldn't say you have to see this movie in 3D, but it did look very great. There were a lot of shots, particularly one where the snail was like on a highway and the rain was hitting the street. The voice acting is pretty good, although I could tell it was Ryan Reynolds the whole time, which was a little distracting because he wasn't really changing his voice or doing anything special. It was just Ryan Reynolds' voice. So it did kind of distract me a little bit, but he didn't do a bad job. Paul Giamatti as his brother, I really liked him. Samuel L. Jackson came in as this kind of cool other snail who was into racing and everything. Turbo runs into this taco salesman who runs a stand with his brother, and through those two brothers and then Turbo and his brother, you kind of see a mirror image of the two, and they relate to each other in various ways. So there were definitely things in the movie that were enjoyable and story elements that would be good for kids, but it's just so predictable and you know where everything is going. So all in all, I don't think Turbo's a movie that you need to rush out and see. I think if you were forced to watch it, you wouldn't mind it, but it's not really worth your time, I don't really think. I think you can probably pass on Turbo and still enjoy your weekend. I would say go see The Conjuring. Yeah. I'm going to give Turbo a C+. Kids will enjoy it, adults won't mind it, maybe. So I'd like to know, have you guys seen Turbo, and what did you think of it if you have? As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.